Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Ramblin Hoops. Today is Thursday, the 8th of May. We got hoops on. But before, we watch the hoops later tonight, we got to talk about the hoops that have transpired over, I believe, Monday. Since Monday, I recorded on Monday, but then the video came out on Tuesday. So we're covering games from Monday through Wednesday, and then I'll cover whatever. Wow. Okay. Some things have gone on in the NBA. As I'm sure a lot of you have already seen, it was the first time in NBA history that every away team won game one of the playoff series in the NBA. And wow. My goodness. Obviously, we talked about the Pacers winning against the Cavs in game one. But man, game two, Jesus, game two is just, that was a very, very rough loss to watch. Donovan Mitchell had a great game. Max Strus stepped up huge, and Jared Allen just giving you a very great game. It was nice that Strus and Allen stepped up. Garland, Hunter, and Mobley are all out right now, so it definitely sucks losing this game, considering the Cavs at one point held a 20-plus point lead, and in the first quarter held the Pacers to 15 points. The first quarter held the Pacers to 15 points. That first quarter tells you everything about this game. At least you would think. The Pacers didn't score anything less than 34 points in the next three quarters after that. The Cavs had no answer for anything the Pacers were throwing at them. Siakam had a very slow game. A very, very slow game. I believe he only had like 10 points. But Miles Turner and Aaron Nesmith just cranked up the intensity. I mean, Miles Turner had 23 and Nesmith both had 23. I also believe they combined for 8 blocks in total. I think Nesmith had 3 and Miles Turner had 5. My God. I mean, Miles Turner neither had Aaron Nesmith. They hadn't really had to be the guys who would score, considering Halliburton and Siakam are on the team. But I think we needed to discuss everything. I am not the biggest fan of the 2-minute report because I think it's just a slap in the face to teams who lose if they lose on some BS call. A lot of people were talking about how Halliburton should have been called for a lane violation. Nesmith should have been called for a lane violation. It's so funny to me that all of a sudden, the moment someone's team loses, they all of a sudden know every rule in the rule book. The lane violation hasn't been called in forever. It is one of the least serious taken rules. No one takes that rule seriously. No one takes the lane violation rule seriously. And my argument to people wanting that rebound that Halliburton got off of his own miss from his free throw line, they want that to be called. But as I said again, it's something that doesn't get called. And the Pacers got hit with a lane violation earlier in the game. So, the last thing I'm thinking is they're going to call a second one. I don't know. I think some people just blamed that lane violation call when it was just like it's so pointless to blame something that never gets called and, blame the refs for not calling it. Um, in my opinion, I just don't think with a lead like that you should be giving up no matter who you're losing. I mean, obviously it's different than like what happened with the Thunder in the Grizzlies game when they lost John Morant, their best player, and that's why they lost. But at the end of the day, man, a 20-point lead is a 20-point lead. And we have already seen the Thunder blow a 20-point lead and the Celtics now blow two 20-point leads. And now that I think about it, let's talk about the Celtics, man. What the fuck? What the fuck has this playoffs been? Are you kidding me? The Celtics are down 2-0. 2-0 against the Knicks. Tatum doesn't even look like a superstar. He genuinely just looks like some dude out there just jacking up threes at your local Y. Like he's just, it's just very, this series for the C's, man. I mean, in no way, shape, or form did I think the Knicks were going to take both games on the road. I would have thought, if anything, the Knicks would have won one game in game 3 or 4, and then at some point won game like 5. But damn, man. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson are just looking, especially Cat last game, but Brunson has been looking like a stud, man. Just absolutely killing everybody who tries to guard him. Josh Hart, it will run all up and down the floor for you. And Mikal Bridges, has there ever been 2 back-to-back game-winning defensive plays by the same player? I don't even know how you can look at that or how you can fact check to see if that's true. But Mikal Bridges just made 2 game-winning back-to-back defensive stops. He got a steal in game 1, and then he got a block in game 2, which, first off, that final shot by Jason Tatum in game 2, why the fuck are you taking that, man? Why are you taking that? You've been shooting like shit all day. Drive to the hoop. Kick it out to somebody. Why? I'm getting a little harsh on Tatum, and I understand that, and I apologize. However, I just think no matter what, it's different if it's like Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is like the only guy on his team that I would be like, I trust him making the final shot. Jason Tatum but like Jason Tatum has Jaylen Brown though. Like that's the thing. And then Jaylen Brown had an amazing game too. Why is Jaylen Brown not getting the last look at the ball? Why are we putting the ball in Tatum's hands when Brown has showed that he was the guy this game to give that final shot to? Now, I know that the Celtics defense just died in that second half, but to be honest, the Celtics in general just died. Both the last 2 games. That fourth quarter in game 1 and that OT were just so unbelievably weak on the Celtics' part. And then to end game 2 like that after having that first half the way you did, making the Knicks look like game 1 was literally just a fluke. And then that second half rolls around, and I'm kind of thinking this game is already done because the Knicks look like they aren't keeping up. And then it just turns into the Celtics not scoring for 7 minutes, or not making a field goal in 7.5 total minutes at one point in the fourth quarter. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. These are the defending champs. What do you mean you scored 16 points or whatever in the fourth quarter? You guys just won a chip. Now, Kristaps Porzingis was out, but KP has kind of been out for most of the season. Nothing's really new. Then the Knicks haven't beaten any top 2 to top 3 team in either conference. They were 0 of... I genuinely think they were 1-9 against the Cavs, Celtics, and the Thunder. And I think they only beat the Cavs one time, if not twice. I kind of forget if they beat the Cavs twice. So they might have gone 2-8. They're either 2 of 8 or 1-9 against the top 3 teams in the league. And now they start off the series 2-0. This completely changes everything. I think the Cavs have a better chance at coming back down 2-0 versus the Celtics. The Cavs have at least the injuries to blame. And now I know Kristaps is out, and you can kind of blame Kristaps being out as like why you lost. But losing 3 main pieces versus 1 main piece, the Knicks didn't seem like their offense was clicking in the first half. They looked like they were out of the game already. Absolutely unbelievable by the Celtics. Absolutely unbelievable. This should have never happened. I don't know if the Celtics can come back and win this. It would be stupid to think they can't. Again, these are the defending champs we're talking about. Jason Tatum is not looking like the player he can be. He has definitely struggled in this series. They've been really sloppy with the ball. Their defense is so lackluster at times. And they have all of these guys who can play really solid defense. Shout out to the Knicks, man. I mean, I'm rooting for I'm wearing a Boston Celtics shirt. But that's just because I really like it and it's very comfortable. But I mean, I'm rooting for the Knicks in this series because I have the Celtics winning. But I'm rooting for the Knicks all day long in this series. But it's just unbelievable that the Celtics have lost both of these games after having such a dominant first half. Because you think they would have learned, like how the Thunder, see that transition, like how the Thunder learned. Gave up game 1 in a horrible loss. Horrible loss. An absolutely awful loss. Jokic did have a monster game. He had 42 points, 22 rebounds. But Alex Caruso made NBA history, being the first player in NBA history, NBA playoffs history, to have, I think it's 2 blocks, 5 steals, and 5 made threes. And then add a plus to each one. So 2 plus, 5 plus, 5 plus. Getting a game like that from Alex Caruso and losing sucks. Getting a game like that from Alex Caruso and losing the way we did sucks even worse. That game 1 was, I would like to blame the constant, I would like to blame the length of rest that the Thunder had. But if you watch the first 3 quarters of the game, yeah, no, the rest had nothing to do with it. I think it genuinely came down, game 1 came down to how Dagnall coached, and he himself even admitted he messed up. And it just like, I think it got to the point where some guys on the team just didn't want to lose. They weren't worried about winning. They were worried about not losing. And that definitely hurts because then there's times where we couldn't make a shot. Chet sadly missed both of those free throws. And, even though Aaron Gordon's shooting has gotten a lot better this year, nothing would have prepared me to watch him attempt to pull in transition from three when he could have just gone up by one. I knew that shot was going in, though. I just had that feeling. Same thing with the Hallie shot. When Hallie got his own rebound in game 2, man, oh man. And then Ty Jerome was guarding Halliburton, and Ty Jerome was having an awful game. Yeah, I just knew Hallie was hitting that. But game 2, I mean, just completely opposite sides of the spectrum for the Thunder. I mean, you get the team that barely loses, that makes you have to beat them on a game winner because they messed up. And then you have a team that never makes any mistakes ever. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had a plus 51, plus or minus. That's not like anything crazy. It's just how the scoreboard works. That's an NBA record. They set another NBA record of having like the most like 40-plus point wins or multiple 40-plus point wins in the postseason. I love this team, man. You can't tell I really love the Thunder. But yeah, man, that second game was just a completely different story. Shai, I mean, the fourth quarter started and everybody was all the bench players were out. However, I will like to say now that I'm remembering this, I almost forgot. I don't like how that game 2 was officiated. I thought game 2 was officiated very poorly. Jokic had a bad game and he fouled out. I don't agree with Jokic fouling out. On top of that, I don't agree with Jokic fouling out by the third quarter. And now that could have, and maybe I wasn't really watching the game as much as I wasn't locked in as much as I thought I was. But they were calling so many fouls against, like, on the Nuggets. And there was just so many ones where it was like, you could have easily let that one go. Scott Foster, obviously, wanted to make sure everybody knew who was officiating this game. He let no bullshit fly. And it's just Scott Foster. I don't like the way the game was officiated. Nothing I can do about it, even if we did win, even if the Thunder did win. Dort, I think Dort is one of the best defenders in the NBA. Hands down one of the best defenders in the NBA. I understand that because he's such a small, but he's not a small guy, that's the thing. He's 6'5", and he's built like a linebacker. So I understand that he has to outwardly flop in order for the refs to see the foul and call it. It's like the same thing with Jalen Brunson, how he's the offensive engine and he's this small guy. He has to get to the free throw line. So I understand that Dort's game also relies on offensive foul calls being made. But he genuinely just, he flops. He flops. He flops way too much at way too many times in the game when he should just be playing defense. Now, I have no problem with him trying his hardest and falling down every now and again. I watched him take a 3-point shot. Nobody near him. And when the defender who attempted to close out walks by and kind of like grazes his arm, I watch Dort completely fall on his back to where you can hear it on the broadcast. It's not going to get called, bro. Give it up, please. I'm so sick and tired of chewing my fucking fingernails down to the bone because I have to watch one of the best defenders in the league, do some fuck shit because he wants to get a call and he thinks that's what we need. Just stay in front of your guy and hustle him, bro. Stop trying to get the refs on your side. I understand why you want to do it. You do it too much, way too much. And in the Mavericks series last year, it hurt us a lot. It really did. Okay. That's all I wanted to say about that final moment. Okay. The very last game was Warriors Timberwolves, and somehow the Warriors won. I was not expecting this game to go the way it did. I wasn't expecting Curry's hamstring to go out. And on top of that, speaking of Curry's hamstring, I looked up to see if there was a return date for him. They have no target date, but he's expected to miss the next 3 games of the series. He's expected to miss game 2, 3, and 4. So what you're telling me is the T-Wolves are going to go on a gentleman's sweep. Because by the time Curry gets back, I believe the T-Wolves will be too hot to give up that final game that Curry comes back. Anthony Edwards had a horrible shooting night. Not a horrible shooting night. He shot 9 of 22 from the field. That's not bueno. His jump shot was not. He could not find his jump shot. Didn't really get to the line as much as I thought he would have tried to, considering his jumper wasn't falling. He ended the game with 23 points. He made up for his lack of shooting with rebounding. He did have 14 rebounds. Can't really say, he didn't really jump out anywhere else. This was just a really rough game from the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves were not ready for this game. In the fact that both the Warriors and the Nuggets could come in from game 7s and both win game 1 is huge. Just with this Curry loss, it really hurts these Warriors. Their future looks so dim. No matter what Buddy Hield is able to do, who has been lights out for shooting. I apologize, Buddy Hield. I talked a lot of shit about you being in the 3-point contest, saying a lot of mean things. I know you're a good 3-point shooter. That's what you're paid to do. That's why you're in the league. You've made the most 3-pointers. You've made more 3-pointers faster than anybody since you have joined the league. Like, I understand what Buddy Hield is able to do and bring to the game, and he has been doing all of that and more for the Warriors in this postseason, especially with Curry sitting out. Draymond, I'm so sick and tired of Draymond, man. I cannot wait for him to retire. And I cannot wait for that Warriors dynasty to finally all be out of the league. And then 20 years later, we can hear about all of the things that Draymond fucked up for the Warriors. I can't wait. Do I sound like a hater? Absolutely 100%. But Draymond is the reason why this Warriors team is where they're at now. And yeah, I'll go to my grave saying that, because Draymond Green, although is a very good basketball player, he is just a child mentally, and he gets his feelings hurt way too easily to be making as much money as he has been making. All right, this was more like ranting hoops, I guess, today. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. I always enjoy making these. It's just me talking about basketball. It's all I like doing. Not all I like doing, but I really enjoy talking about basketball. So if you enjoyed this video and you like also maybe hearing people talk about basketball, like and subscribe, maybe share this video with people. That'd be pretty cool. That's all I got for you guys. Deuces.